Quickly go over how you can analyze your results in dedoose. So first you're going to start here by going to the Analyze button. Over here on the left hand column you're going to see a whole bunch of folders pop up. You can open them up and it gives you the impression there's a whole bunch of charts that you can pull up, which in fact there are a few charts, but they list them duplicates of themselves several times. For example, codes by descriptors listed here, as well as here, as well as here. You'll see the same thing with descriptor by code, descriptor by code, descriptor, a descriptor by code, descriptor would also be right there, descriptor by code. So there's a lot of duplicates over there. I'm not quite sure why that's the case, but there are. Also, dedoose just recently had an update. They promised a whole bunch of new ways to analyze things. I don't really see that. What I have seen is that the one chart that I like the most that allows you to look at the frequency of codes has actually disappeared. So really, there's not a good way to determine if how many times or what the most coded theme is within your data anymore. The closest thing you could possibly do is go to code by descriptor or descriptor by code. And descriptor by code will let you know based on anti-fat bias here how many white or Hispanic or Latino coded anti-fat biased age. It breaks it down into age ranges. Between those age ranges, how many coded anti-fat biased. You can come over here, you can change the code and determine it that way. If you don't want to look at it that way, you can also go codes by descriptor, which allows you just to pick the descriptor, say age, and then look at anti-fat bias, dismissiveness, tactlessness, blame, things of that nature. The only way right now to determine, from what I can tell, how often anti-fat bias was coded versus blame versus some of the other parent codes is to possibly hand calculate and then determine that way. You can scroll over anti-fat bias and it'll show you that it was total code count was 75.6. So and then for those age 45 to 54, 12 of those were coded from those between the ages of 45 and 54. But as of right now, there's no way to really tell which code is most commonly or most frequently coded without looking and maybe jotting it down and then calculating those percentages by hand. They used to have a chart for this. I don't quite know where it went or what happened to it, but I will do some more investigation between now and Thursday. There's some other charts that you could use in here. Code co-occurrence is a great chart because here you can look at blame and see if it co-occurs with anything else. The warmer the colors, green, the yellow, red, the warmer the color gets, the more that code co-occurs with another code. So here you see some red and an 82, and if you look, that's try, diet, and exercise and seeking solutions. Well, it would make sense that those would co-occur together because try, diet, and exercise is a child code to seeking solutions. Same with unawareness of lipidemia and lack of medical support. But there's some other ones. For example, here, anti-fat bias. No, sorry, not that one. lack of medical support, and seeking solutions. Those seem to co-occur together minimally. So this could be good, especially if you have a lot of co-occurrences. You could find out themes that are related to each other. We also have a 3D code cloud. Looks a lot like Leximancer. We also have a packed code cloud. It pretty much just takes your codes and I guess makes a pretty graphic out of it, because I can't even really understand what it's doing, other than it does show you by the warmer colors that seeking solutions is probably more commonly coded. Lack of medical support, more commonly coded. So this is going to work on, hot and cold features as well. I believe the pack code cloud may do exactly the same thing. So these are most of the charts, and they just repeat themselves. You can, if you want to get in touch with your data, break it down by 2 descriptor fields and 1 code field. And negative response. And then see how those compare. Another thing that you can do is you can go into your data set. If you, for example, we had 3 qualitative questions. If we just wanted to get the results of which one was more commonly coded for qualitative question 2, the same way that you activated and deactivated users, you could activate or deactivate different text documents. So to start, I'm going to go ahead and deactivate all, and that grays everything out. And then I'm only going to select, say, question 2, so I can analyze just question 2 by itself. I'm not going to select all of them because it would be 66 of them, but I'll select a few here just so I can show you. Once we select those, we can go ahead, close out. We go back to analyze. As we can see, that drastically changed because we're really only coding like 10 now. But we can see that the code count here has changed to 4 for anti-bat bias. So this allows us to code just based on what we want to code. We can turn off descriptors just like we can turn off text documents. So if we go back into dataset, we can go into descriptors, and we can activate, deactivate all, and select the ones we want, or activate all. We can do the same thing with codes, but rather than activating, we'll select the ones that we want to activate or deactivate, just like the filtering. So other than that, that's it for the analysis section. I'm going to do some more research and figure out what happened to the most important chart of all. And I will see you guys or talk to you guys on Thursday. Feel free to email me any questions that you have, or if there's anything I didn't cover or cover well, or if there's anything you don't understand, if there's any problems.